Welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome to the chat,
yeah.
man. So yeah, us me and Leo was gonna discuss the documentary. So if some people watch the documentary Enter the Manosphere, they probably know it's like, Lewis's work. I mean, I can never say his last name properly, but
It's called
yeah,
Lewis T. Just called Lewis T. FA.
yeah,
Yeah,
Lewis T. But yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, obviously just you and I gonna break down I'm gonna break down why I think his documentary didn't land so well that he thought it did because like I said, I was watching it with my mom and I couldn't take the documentary serious. I literally couldn't take it serious whatsoever. I just look
Disclaimer:
at
I haven't seen it. Okay, but
like,
I have done research into it and reviews and etc. But we'll get into that later when we get deeper into
yeah.
the film. But go on, continue.
I just feel like the documentary. I feel like with Lewis, yeah, he didn't do enough research. He didn't do homework because, like, obviously, you and I, we're in our mid like 30s and above, and as well. So we understand like the history of how men are back in the day. And I think you and I we touched based on something like
Mm.
for starters. You gotta understand, yeah, today's society, these young boys are looking at these tape followers in these red pill contexts here as their influencers. Back in the day, we didn't have influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was not a thing. I mean, you think about realistically, like you look at the old school days, like we had Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel Air, we had Desmond, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? We had Patrick from EastEnders.
Yeah,
Like
it's a few.
we had basically men there that actually were showing father figures role models.
Yeah. That's
And I
facts.
think that's what we're actually missing in today's society. Men are not showing father figure role models. It's
Mm.
like we've gone from family values now to materialism. It's like, oh, this is like chase money, get it back and stuff. But that was never it. Like we were growing up.
Mm-mm.
Like especially like us born in the 80s and 90s, we had this idea of let's build a family, like let's build a community together. That was the idea of what it meant to be in well, my perspective of what masculinity and fatherhood figure was.
Mm-hmm.
But I
And
feel like
that
go on.
must be because of the fact that in that time of generation, that's what was getting promoted at the time. But right now, it's now about a whole different dynamic of what men look like. Apparently, yeah. To this Louis T kind of documentary of what I saw was I didn't really see masculinity when I kind of saw the what do you call it, the trailer.
Yeah.
I kind of got a gist of the whole thing in my head. Like something just snapped in me. I was like, oh, this is what they're trying to portray as the new generational men. So then the younger men below them look at them as men, kind of. And but obviously their way of like your manhood is toxic. Obviously, that's obvious. I know it. But I mean, other than that, what we had back then, yeah, we had kind of men that were showing independence, you know what I'm saying, family orientated, you know what I'm saying, like monogamy, putting the woman on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying, like, on that level of such. It wasn't really a kind of, I don't know, what I see in this movement is like everyone's just stuck in some sort of fantasy, like almost like they don't like the red pill's meant to be reality, but this is like a fantasy kind of thing because everyone's like, I want a couple of wives, I want a couple of girls in that Bugatti, and all of that. Yeah, it's like, no, wait. That's not unrealistic. No, you know what I'm saying, my G? Like, just no, allow it, allow it.
I know. I mean, when you say
Allow it.
allowed it, it's actually there because
Stop.
I think what it is, we're focusing too much on material as an emotional aspects as well. Because, like I said,
What's
like
up,
that
Tiano?
example,
Yeah.
yeah, no, because it's actually funny because when I was growing up here, like I was like, I think it's actually mad. I remember the first ever self help book was actually a dating book, by an author named Neil Strauss. So Neil Strauss is actually a journalist
Mm-hmm.
and he needs to I believe he actually interviewed adult stars back in the day, like in
Okay,
the
okay.
old time as well. But then
Okay,
he
the
actually,
ones, okay.
but then what made him work fascinating is like Neil Strauss started interviewing like pickle artists back in the day. So guys like Mystery Man, Pook and stuff. Like he wants to understand how these men got women.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, if you think about these men back in the day, like we're talking about early 2000s, by the
Okay,
way.
okay,
We're talking
okay.
about from 2000 all the way to the 2010 period. So Neil Strauss released his first book. I think the game was back in 2005. So this is before social media was actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually interviewed these men and asked them how they got girl stuff. Bear in mind, these men were not actually chasing. These men didn't say to these young guys saying, "Oh, you need a lot. You need to be money. You need to have like a lot of successful." He was actually understanding. he was teaching these young boys, especially Mystery Man,
Mm-hmm.
how to be charismatic, how to be sociable, how to be interactive. Like the idea of a bit of comedy. In fact, I actually read Neil Strauss' second book called The Rules of the Game, and I was like, I think I was going to be 20 to 21,
Mm-hmm.
and I was young at that time, so I didn't understand about females. And I always thought like it's all about looks and looks, but when I read his book, he broke it down. It wasn't about looks. It's about charismatic. It's about being who you are, being
Mm.
confident.
Mm.
Like you understand how you understand rejection. In fact, he even took a quote from Chris Rock's jokes, like saying, "Hey, how about some dick?"
Okay, word up. Okay, man,
So,
okay, you're getting that. I like that.
so
So it's down to earth, that. So he's more like
yeah.
really like for the common people, not really on some sort of selling points of things. He wasn't really
No,
trying to
no, of
sell.
course.
Yeah, yeah, that part, that part. Okay, that's what it sounds like when you're kind of
Because when you
quoting him
look
as that.
about it, when you look about today's society,
Yeah, yeah.
young
You
boys
see
don't know.
Simone, big up, big up.
Yeah, of course. Like young boys don't know how to build social skills. They think material, think, oh, I need to have money to date her and stuff. Like, no, back in our time period, you just had to be sociable. You just had to make a laugh. You just had to
Yeah,
find some. You
yeah.
just had to find something you had in common with, and that's it. Build that trust and communication.
That's how I kind of have with my lady. Like we had jokes. Like we just from the day job, we just had loads of laughter, like and laughing at similar things or watching similar movies. And when watching them together, and we were together, going, "Oh, you laugh at that? Yeah, we laugh at the same kind of things." And
Exactly.
yeah.
It
So
was just
stuff like that.
comedy.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just
So
comedy.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That kind of growth.
Yeah, because look at these men today society. Like you look at like the Fresh and Fit, the Mind Games. Hey Tiggy Tiggy. I'm looking at this like, bro, you guys are not funny. You guys can't even crack jokes.
No, but
You
again,
guys.
these are marketing these are marketing tools. That's what I mean. These men ain't serious, but they get their business right, but then they
Hmm.
mess up other little boys, like younger men's business plans, because they're trying to say, "No, this is how you do it. Trust me." And then there's a generation of how I'm gonna say it like this. So man, like not just like him, but many like him, like
Hmm.
whatever, like and before him that may have this mentality. Because
Yeah.
obviously he followed somebody. He didn't just make this up. You get me? Like
Yeah.
he obviously he had like a blueprint from someone else, and then
Yeah. Of course.
therefore, I wouldn't really call them men. Like you know what I'm saying? They were like they're more like the Peter Pan, and they've created like a generation of lost boys, and that's what I see with these kind of these dynamics
No.
of
Of
this whole
course.
movement. And these men refuse to grow up. Like they just don't want to be like you know what I'm saying? Like catch their reality in the sense of you know, check themselves and go, right, but I came from my mother and that. Like I came from a woman. How am I disrespecting women like this? This is mad. Like I don't know. Like there has to be some sort of consciousness. You get me of like awareness, not like conscious awareness of that. At least
But
something. But I feel
you
like
know
they don't
what?
show that remorse. That
Mm.
yeah, all women are this, but I'll never treat my mum like that. But and you probably wouldn't. And if you do, maybe you have a different way. Maybe you do it through tonalities or like verbal. You don't physically
Yeah.
just like. Because obviously you have to like physically, but you can verbally still break your mum down and make her feel that she's less, and then you're thinking
Yeah.
I can chat to any woman like that because that's how that man chats. Yeah, yeah, like and then like and he gets all the girls, and I don't know, I don't know the
Yeah.
fantasy of it. I don't know how their head really works because I'm more on the monogamous side of life, so that's what I mean. So I'm
I
kind
think.
of yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you break down these things deeply. So yeah.
No, of course, definitely. I think what it is here, like you look back at the documentary as well, because I look at, like I said, those gaps in Lewis's movement. One is like he did it a bit too late when it became not trending. Like he should have done it years ago when it was actually trending. It's like basically it's kind of like UK perspective, like people from the UK. It's like when grime first started. Like he's jumping on something when everyone knew what grime is.
Hmm.
Like it's now become mainstream to a point. It's like this is old to us. This is not new to us. And then it brings my point is like, if Cameron Samuel was alive, would he interview Cameron Samuel? Because Cameron Samuel was similar, however, he wasn't like that kind of level. In fact, he actually encouraged men to get married. He literally was literally encouraging men to like, build relationship with women, pursue them as well. So I think with Lewis's documentary, yeah, he's not focusing on the positive side of masculinity. He just focuses on the loudest grifters. And
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you can tell in it because there's so much people, as you said, not to cut your wisdom, but
yeah.
as you said, like yeah, there's like people that have like yeah, so there are let's say Kevin Samuels, but there's people who are also his followers. Why not interview them, or why not
Hmm.
interview someone who's close to the more mature side of this movement, not
Yeah, of
the
course.
ignorant side? The ones that might speak on that actually help and guide men. You get
Yeah.
me? Like, so we go with things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna look into that, because I'm sure they're out there. There's always a yin and yang to everything. So I'm sure there's always like a someone else or a H something TikTok. I forget his name, by that TikTok dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's probably an opposite to him. You get me? Like he's not like he's just that part of it, and it's just embarrassing. You get me? So yeah, man. What's that? C Simone
Yeah.
saying? What's C Simone saying?
Can you read what she's saying? What's it? As a woman, a wise woman always told me to check how men treat their mom before getting too
Facts.
serious.
That's facts, actually. Yeah.
Before before expectation. If someone doesn't have a mom or is in their mom's manipulative era, it generally speaks works. I mean, that is true. I mean, when you look at like these men, because like I mean, some people, be a spoiler, you can tell some of these men didn't have a healthy relationship with their mothers, or in fact, didn't
Mm.
have a relationship with their fathers. Because sometimes your
Yeah,
father,
yeah, that's facts. That's definitely that that's
yeah.
established. That's definitely established. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
That's
no, of
for
course,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah,
Your relationship
yeah,
with your father actually establishes how your relationship with women goes.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, like you look at like one of my favorite J. Cole songs, "No Role Models." Like this song,
Hmm.
he said, like the line he says, "No role models from here right now. No role models to speak up. Searching my memory, I couldn't find one." Like he literally saying, "I had no one teach me how to be a man. I had to figure out that my own."
Yeah, but I'm going to counter that one with he did have men that taught him like men because he come from a generation where he was reading books like Malcolm X, you get me,
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
Muhammad Ali, or
Yeah.
probably deeper books than that. You get? I'm not saying that. That's what I mean. The depth of his knowledge. He probably had role models in his way. Vicariously, you find role models through authors.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
Fortunately, and you know what I'm saying, and you got to kind of put that in perspective where when men say that. But I like that he's highlighting the fact there is no role models in truth like that, and that is true. And there is a level that I can also say that's a true statement. That's not like a that's definitely something that can be not like that countered because it's true because no one's looking for role models, no one's reading deeper people or watching whatever audio booking of Malcolm X or just hearing his voice over his old speeches or what I'm saying. Sometimes I
Yeah.
go back to these elder men that are older than him. You know what I'm saying? I go back way back sometimes. These men are in
Hmm.
their 50s, not 50-year-olds, but in their like 1950s talking some deep.
Yeah.
And they're giving history and references, but you're listening like you're by a campfire going, wow, this guy is wise. And you can't
Right.
help but listen to him and that. You're like, raw.
Yeah.
And that kind of vibe. So, if you're in search of, you shall find. But back to your saying of that no role model thing, facts though, that it is kind of that scarcity out here for the true men to stand up and and true men to be men because sometimes they get broken down by women expecting more from them. There's also a challenge in that. You know what I'm saying? In the dynamics of the man and woman in the modern age, you feel?
I mean, what I just said, yeah, it actually got me thinking because when you put that perspective angle, it made me realize in like the first line of the song "No More" was when he said, "First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil." And I'm thinking it actually makes sense because I think the reason why we were like not diving into this, like I said, we had role models, we had like I said, we had celebrities, we had Denzel Washington, we had like Samuel Jackson, we had like like rappers, singers, we had like Tupac, we had Biggie's.
But it was a
We
choice of what you followed, who are going to be your models for the long term
Yeah.
of your personality or persona. So mine would be poetic, expressive. So my role models
Hmm.
would be Tupac, mixed with like, some Wu Tang slang. You get me, like, and
Yeah, of
then
course.
yeah, I'm then mixed with the emotional side of musical soul child, or you get me that
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
be
yeah. Facts.
dabbling. I'll be dabbling. You
Yeah.
get me to find like, oh, how do I try and be a man in these kind of complex times? But I don't want to be one of those rugged boys, or I'm not a sweet
Yeah.
boy. You get me? I ain't that dude. But I ain't no
No, of course.
rugged dude. You get me? There's a middle ground to my energy where I can be balanced. So I want to be. I just want to find me. You get me? Like, but I don't want to like mimic anybody. But I want to get like at least positive role models within my direction. At least have that. You know what I'm
No.
saying? And because in the end, I didn't really follow those celebrities as role models too deep. You get me? Luckily, I had my dad, who was like enough as a role model as he is for me
Hmm.
and it being in my life in many ways. So he was
Yeah.
enough. I didn't have to see him all the time or anything. We just had to speak, and that just got me hyped in the sense that he gave me some sort of energy and some barrier of like, and and he was a true man to his word. He wasn't really a dude. He kind of liked to, he just liked being, really like being by himself. He's that kind of character, very introverted individual. You get me? And
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying, but extroverted and giving wisdom, or you don't mind showing care and love and compassion and being attentive to you in that. And he
No, of
taught me
course.
that, and he taught me that. You know what I'm saying? In other ways, more so than anything. So I do have
No, of
to
course.
give
Yeah.
him that shout before any celebrity, before any rapper or anybody before. If it were not for him, I wouldn't understand half these rappers. And I wouldn't understand half these kind of other kind of
No, of course.
codes of society thanks to him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think for me, I got a little off topic with the documentary because, like I said, watching that documentary is like he was interviewing these young boys, these actual men, and I realized like these were millennial men. These men don't even have not touched 40 yet, and that somehow they think they got a blueprint for
I never
life.
thought of that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I couldn't watch that, man. That's why I could never. So I'm glad you're telling me
Like
about these little kind of hiccups. But
no,
bro,
because I'm deep in it. Like they're not
yeah,
none of
yeah,
these
that's
men are
true.
touched 40 yet, and they think
That's
they
so
understand
true.
how women operate. They think that how life operates. I'm like, no, you're actually little boys. You're men in little boys' bodies. Like no,
Oh
you're
no, word,
literally
word. Yeah, it's
like you
word, isn't
literally
it?
you got little boy mentality because you're literally saying, oh, chasing money and stuff. No, you're just chasing problems. And like
Mm.
big that's how the biggest problem. Like more money, more problems. Like what it is here is you're not building genuine connection. You're not showing your offensiveness. And I think what Louis' documentary did, yeah, which fair enough, yeah, he literally tried to expose the manosphere. But what he's now done, yeah, is now caused a real effect because any man that does any contact, yeah, contact,
Content.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah, contact, yeah,
Yeah,
contact,
you got your back,
yeah,
G. Now
yeah,
we do, man.
yeah,
Word for
thanks,
word.
thanks. So like any man that does any contact, yeah, like involves helping men improve their life or try and get better on
Mm-hmm.
anything, is now thinking, oh, it's part of man's work. But it's not really.
Mm-hmm.
Because realistically, this has been, like I said, men have been helping men for years now, for decades. This is not new to us. And the thing is, like, before these like became loudmouth, it was Kevin Samuel during lockdown. Like I remember that
Facts.
video.
And
I
he
remember
had
that
it
video.
locked down. And he had it locked
Yeah.
down. That was the reality. That was
I
it.
know,
And
exactly. But
yeah,
then that's the
yeah.
thing. But in the thing that this is like I don't think you understand. It's not the first time a man decided to go against the grain in society. Before Kevin Samuel, we
Mm-hmm.
had a guy named comedian named Producer O'Neill.
Okay, I didn't know
But
about
like
him. Okay,
he
see,
died,
wow.
but he passed away back in 2011. He was a comedian. He had his own podcast show, and like before it was a podcast, it was a radio show. Just to let it clarify. And
Mm-hmm.
I watched the old clips of it. He was literally saying the stuff they were saying, but however, he put it in funny perspective. There was lots of messages, but it was in a funny comedy way. He used comedy to get his point across. And the thing is, like, what it is, yeah, is like when, like I said, like these kind of men, yeah, you shut them down. Guess what? A new man will rise up. You can't start a man, yeah, that wants to speak his truth.
Mm.
Do you do? You ignore them. You don't give them any spotlight. You don't give them any attention. You ignore them. It's
No,
like
I hear that.
because let's be real, not show. Before the whole Tate Brothers situation appeared, I followed the Tate Brothers since 2021. And the minute Kevin Samuel passed away, back in I think it was 2022 or 2023, they were like, "Oh, he's gone. Let me speak up now. Let me start speaking, like for society and stuff. Speak for all men."
But that was
And we all
mad
think,
because, sorry, not to cut you wisdom
yeah,
again about
yeah,
Tate, just on the same subject, to stay there.
yeah.
Like, because I remember I was working with somebody and it was a young lady and she was all like, she had this admiration for him. I was like, what the hell? Like, break that down. What's up with that? Like, what? How can even young ladies think that he was that guy? Like, what's up with that? She
Yeah.
had her own reasons, but she was like, defining him as like, he's a real man. Like,
Hmm?
why was she, yeah, that's what I mean. Why would she say such break that down. Because I was confused when she was dropping these kind of bars. I was like,
No, because I
I
think
didn't
what
really
it
follow
is,
him
yeah.
too deep to understand why she even dropped that. So I was kind of wanting to,
I think
yeah.
what it was, yeah, that situation was because again, you gotta understand how media works. Once you understand, there's two types of people. There's consumers and producers. So obviously we are writers, we're poets, we produce context, we
Mm,
create. So we
mm,
understand how the creation works.
mm.
Now, if the same brother say something that's positive, no one's gonna like, listen to him. But they say something negative, it's gonna get uproar.
Which they have, I guess, throughout the years, but yeah,
Yeah, because in the
but it looks
day,
like they're getting bad karma because their life don't look like it's looking any better. You know what I'm
oh yeah,
saying?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, on them weird, strange ones now, on them, on
No,
them
of course.
universal ones.
But here's the thing though, it's like these kind of men, yeah, had again, they can't just say, "Oh, I was inspired. I did this all by myself." You were inspired by some other man. Some other man literally inspire you to have this idea. So again, you were inspired by Kevin Samuel. because Kevin Samuel was literally the talk of the talk. We had like, then we had the No Jumper podcast jumping on it. We had the, what is
Mm-hmm.
it? Charlemagne the God's podcast series jumping on him. And the thing
Mm.
is, the way Kevin Samuel spoke, he wasn't aggressive.
No,
He
he
was
was
not aggressive, man.
he had some sort
He
of
was
calm
calm
sense
and
of
collected. Yes. But
calm
then
and
what
precise precision, yeah,
but
precision.
what people didn't like about him, it was the tone. It was his tone that provokes people.
And I'm sure that's what he done, just to let you know, it can get that deep, man. Like the tones are, it's real like that. You with someone long enough, you get to hear their true tones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't like front like you can't be talked to like that in certain ways because if you ain't hearing it in that tone, if I be nice about it, you're
Yeah.
seeing it as flattery or something, or you're being
Hmm.
a bit too coy and da da da. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Sometimes I have to tell a girl, no, I've allowed them eyelashes. You get me? They're not even looking good on you, man. And but I don't mean it like in a horrible way. I do it. I
Yeah.
get jokey about it too. I don't really
Yeah, of
judge them and
course.
go, it's who you
Yeah.
are, it's how you express yourself. So I'm not gonna, trip on you but I'm letting you know you probably look better without them. But you don't want to hear that. But I don't
Yeah.
know, like, what does it take for you to take them out? Someone to be like, I don't know. Do you want to be told that? You get me? And do you want to be
Hmm.
told that you're naturally beautiful? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. You
No,
get me?
no, definitely. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I've
it's
said.
interesting because I mean, with this documentary, yeah, it's now a lot of people. Now you got a lot of people, big people are coming like, "Oh my gosh, this manosphere is dangerous. This thing is like, well, it's been happening for years now. It's been underneath the radar. Like, it's
And literally,
literally,
bro, I've never known about the manosphere. These terms were new to me, my G.
no, oh, yeah,
I had to research,
yeah.
but go on. But yeah, because it was like
I
some
mean,
whole
take
new
it, take it
world
with
for me.
me. Take it with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Who's literally dealt with this ideology firsthand, like firsthand, literally. So I dived in this ideology back in 2019, and I followed this concept for like almost 4 years now. But then as I got looked, the more, thank God poetry came to my life, and thank God poetry saved me from this ideology as well, because it's a very destructive thought process ideology to have, because you're looking like how men think are, all women are monsters, or the divorce, like you're focusing on the negative side of relationship, when you're literally saying, oh, men and women are better to, we complement each other, we're meant to help each other at the end of the night. But it's like, you're literally the male version of feminist, you ask me. Like,
Hmm.
you're like a male feminist telling men that they don't date women, they're only after your money, they're no good, they're not funny. It's like, yeah, but that's kind of like spreading hatred.
And that
You know what I
creates a
mean?
very, very
Revenge.
downward spiral. It
Yeah.
just creates a bad spiral of genuine relationships that could be missed
Hmm.
because they were too busy focusing on the distraction of other men boys or boy men or
Yeah.
whatever they are,
Yeah.
man boys. But yeah, dumb parts. And you know what I'm saying? They weren't like Mowgli. They didn't go to the village to grow up. They just wanted to
No,
stay
of
in
course.
the jungle or the streets. I want to be in the
Hmm.
streets, you get me? And fake the streets. They're not even in the streets like that, man. They're in the streets, but not in the streets. I know that much, side. There's industries, and end of the day, these industries sell to the malleable men. You get me? Men who didn't have, unfortunately, role models. Unfortunately, it goes back to that, and the reality is, and that's where it comes down to in society this day and age. So, documentaries like that are meant to be, trying to, make a parody of role models. That's like a joke of what a role model
Yeah.
really is, to know what a
Hmm.
real man really is. Because, I can come out there and role model a lot of things, but, I might get that kind of, like respect from a distance. I don't need it up
Hmm.
close. People are like, oh, that's quite cool. He skateboards with his child to nursery or what, like, what? This is a cool kind of father, and that could be role modeled. Like, you get me? And I don't have to do it because I'm trying to do it on purpose. More like I do it because it is my purpose. So
No, no,
yeah,
definitely.
that's what
For
I mean.
sure.
Like,
I
so
mean, back to what you were saying as well, like, skateboarding men on purpose. It's like, these men don't care about helping men. They just care about like filling their pockets, because it's sad you got a lot of young boys here who are like now scared to go out, socialize, interact. I mean, just what is it? Just last Sunday, I was helping someone run their first poetry slash comedy brunch event,
mhm,
and it was mostly women.
mhm.
And I'm thinking like, where are the guys at? It's like I'm trying to get guys to come out. Like, a lot of guys feel like they have this idea, oh, there's no point. I ain't got money to spend. She ain't interested in me. But it's like,
But why you have
no,
a
just go and
conversation?
socialize.
Yeah, you just have to talk to her, and then you can both
Just
go halves on a beer
just
or something. I
propose
don't
to her.
know. Yeah, just
Like,
yeah.
it's like basically what's happening is like we let social media tells us how to date, and it's like before we have
Man.
social media, don't think we didn't have social media before dating.
No, no, you
Like,
should
that
have
was not
genuine
thing.
connection, and if you made
Connection.
one, and you hang out, and if you lasted longer than a certain amount of months, you were chilling. You were like,
Yeah.
hey, we're actually chilling like, and then it's like, yeah, man, do you wanna be my wifey? So I sing it on one side, then the R&B songs start coming to your brain. You're like, yeah, like we're together on that one, like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're my 143, like, yeah, man, that's what's up, like, and then you start getting that high energy, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get vibes up like that. But that's how you kind of found it, found that love and true connection now without before social media. You had to link girls and really link them and actually say, oh well, I guess we're not getting along together, but hey, like, we can still be friends or whatever. That still came out, and you generally could be friends. That was a genuine thing. So
yeah, of
yeah, like
course.
yeah, so that's what's up. But yeah, that's why I personally don't. I don't mind. I didn't, but it's interesting. I had a son, obviously, that's a young son. So, but he didn't get into that manosphere thing. But I don't think I think it bypassed him because, as you as it would be, I was in his life. You get me, like
Yeah, of
as it would
course.
be, and he bypassed all of that manosphere and kind of stage because he didn't know about that. Because I guess he didn't need to know about that. But I mean, he probably knew about the heads and again, he might have even heard some of it and listened to some of it. Not to say he didn't. You never know what they listen to, anyways. And if these guys were as influential as they seem to be, I wouldn't be surprised if they got through to my son either way. You get me? Or not like in copycatting, but going, oh, but these guys are all right. They're right about women. And then he might treat his girl a certain way, going, yeah, that's what Andrew Tate was saying. And, by accident, you might get a little Instagram clip of Andrew Tate switching, and then, you get me? And then, it makes sense. That makes sense. You might just agree with it because you're a young, valuable boy in that. So you're a valuable boy too. So yeah, although I can try and man him up as much as I can, but I had my growing to do. So in my growing, we grew together, and he's now grown his way, and hopefully he takes some of my play.
Yeah, no, of course, definitely. I think what it is, yeah, is well, like I said, the more I watched that
All right,
documentary,
see
like,
Simone, man. Catch you in the updates, man. The upload. That's what's up, man. You enjoy that
yeah,
day. You know what I'm saying? Give Shiv that shout out all day. You know what I'm saying? All right.
no, of course. Thanks so much, Simone, for joining
Yeah,
us
man.
conversation.
Salute, man. For real, for real.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think looking at that, watching that documentary, is like I said, I watched that documentary with my mom. My mom has like 3 sons. She's like, yeah, thank God I raised you guys right. Thank God, like, you have common sense. And I'm thinking, like I said, I look from a comedy perspective, I couldn't take it serious because I was just like, it's just nonsense. Like, why are you giving these lies attention? Like, people can find their work on YouTube. They don't need, like, it's like Netflix. I feel like with Lewis here, what he tried to saw, he just saw a money grabbing opportunity, not realizing people can just find their
It's
work on YouTube. They can
yeah,
find their work on YouTube.
but
YouTube
again,
is more bigger than Netflix. Like,
money
if
grabbing with bad side effects. It's horrible, man. Yeah,
yeah,
look what now look what it's doing. But go on. Oh,
but then what
yeah.
you done, yeah, is now you're destroying like dating coaches. Now dating coaches now gotta think, everyone can think, oh, you're a dating coach, you must be part of the manosphere. Fuck no. Like, genuinely, as a whole. In fact, why? I mean, Lewis said he has 3 sons. My question is, have a conversation with your sons instead before you do the documentary. Like, have a genuine conversation, talk to them, build a relationship, asking like your own sons what you think role model should be. Like, you're asking a bunch of guys here who just go on YouTube, spitting nonsense, talking, and not even interacting. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
most of these guys don't have a healthy relationship with their mothers to begin with.
That's
Like,
true.
genuinely.
That's
And
true.
yet, you have the audacity, like, I mean, like I said, what's that documentary was just, I just felt like Lewis just saw a money opportunity and he thought he'd just grab it. Because let's be
Mm,
real, not show. No one watches Netflix like it used to. In fact, people watch more stuff on YouTube than Netflix.
that's true. Or Pirate Bays or whatever they listen to,
Yeah, of
wherever they
course.
stream or whatever they do. Yeah, yeah. It's true, and that's
Yeah,
what I mean. So
and
once money grabbed, it's just once that's established, it just shows the real point is within that money grab there was a bad message. The message, got out of control in the sense that it's probably creating a new controversial kind of oh now like it's getting attacked by these people, just stuff like that, and it's like a waste of time in solving the true essence and the true actual like what to say the true kind of solution really we're looking
mhm,
for within that if we're going to keep watching these low level kind of information
mhm,
stream kind of like people giving them popularity and time and whatever our numbers their numbers and our time is their numbers so we're giving
yeah, of
our
course.
numbers to these numbers adding to their numbers and they're getting more numbers out of it physically paychecks and that and we're just sitting there lonely, like wondering when we're gonna get our kind of when we can get paid out of this. Whether it's like, oh, I at least want 3 girlfriends and a Ford Escort kind of thing. I don't know.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. Be honest with you. I think the bachelor lifestyle is the most saddest lifestyle ever. Like I don't know what
What's up,
any
man?
man
Why, man?
was.
I don't hear much bachelors do complain. I don't hear much of them complain. But go on, what's
I don't know.
up,
Maybe
man?
it's just me.
Break it down.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just think it's a sad lifestyle because you were literally trying to entertain a bunch of women, and it's like you're not even just like found yourself and being content with yourself. Like
Mm,
the idea of like material things, materials come and go. They
mm.
literally come and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because in the day, it's just like you're just chasing more problems for yourself, and you're just like these men, yeah, not touched 40 yet, and years to come, they're gonna be in their 50s. And so
Mm,
I guarantee you, they're gonna look back thinking, what was I thinking talking like this? They're gonna have like an epiphany moment of thinking, crap, I should have, like, literally done better. I mean, that's what I'm saying, like, again, the history of Picard is no Strauss. He literally had epiphany moments. He realized, like, this is not me. Like, I'm just putting a facade, I'm being fake.
yeah.
Until he actually met a woman, got married, and obviously, sadly, he divorced, they got divorced, yeah, but during that time dating her, getting to know her, he realized, like, I am not being honest with myself. I'm not being honest with her. I'm not happy with this.
Hmm.
And the thing is, like, you gotta understand, these Mansfield boys are literally the younger, they're like the baby down version of the pickup artists back in the day. Because in the day, they haven't learned to skill. They haven't learned to like be whole themselves. They haven't learned to be grounded or be zen. They haven't learned what it's like to actually develop a woman's presence and actually like, take it from a nurture perspective and actually interact.
Hmm.
All they done is more like lash out. In fact,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you know what? You're so right. I felt like a lot of people, they're in a state of rage. But go on,
yeah.
continue. Yeah, yeah, but yeah.
I mean, I actually said to a friend about this as well. I think my main friend, Mo, we spoke about this a couple of days ago. I literally said to him about this. It's like most guys, who have trust issues are the ones that don't trust themselves. They haven't learned to trust themselves.
Mm, okay, no, I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm with that. I
So
can agree with that. I'm not gonna even that rebuttal that statement. Yeah, that's actually
because
true facts. Go on, you can do it.
the
Add
thing
to
about
it.
if you don't learn to trust yourself, you end up putting a facade, you end up putting a mask, you end up like being unhappy. I mean, that's what happened to me years ago before poetry. I was just putting a mask on, and then years on, the more I started doing poetry, the mask just faded away, and I started into my true self. And I realized, like, oh, I don't even need money to date a girl. I just need to be myself and have comedy. I just need to be zen and grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, like, the more you enter yourself in zen, people tend to draw towards you. You become like a magnet of light that people want to be around. The reason why we have the rise of the incels is more like there's two sides conflicted. You got high
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem. You got high standards conflict with low self-esteem. They tend to clash. The key is to be content with yourself, be grounded,
Mm.
be one yourself. Like I said, that's why I always say I always tend to say men should go out and touch grass. Go outside. Go to a bar, go to a club, or go somewhere when there's a social event. Just talk to people. You know what I mean? Like
And
just
make sure
the
the event's at your level of intellectual maturity or whatever
yeah.
you're looking for. So that's what you also got to do. You got to kind of pick your surroundings based on your interest, rather
Hmm.
than go to a comic con, go to a whatever kind of go to an old school retro movies club. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that
Yeah.
exists. I'm just making that up, but I might have to make one up. I might have to make that. Yeah, I've got better retro. I'm just going. Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, of
Though.
course.
But yeah,
I think
man. But
I think what it is, yeah, is just like because even down here, it's like men are slowly far behind, not just like the material side, but also the emotional aspect perspective. Like men are now giving up. They're literally opting out. They're saying, "Oh, what's the point?" It's like they're falling to this idea of capitalism, and it's like no, capitalism to control you. Like it's somehow they're thinking like, "Oh, sales
man, how
must
are
be
you
this
giving
way."
that capitalism in like a mash up economy? They're insane. That's what I mean, man. But that's not me. Me, I just have to live how I have to live. But if you overly think about capitalism in that way to find someone you have to pair with, that's almost like an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Almost like you're using anything that you can't gain as a reason to justify your pain, and another reason to extend that pain in, to not even get what you want, but maybe simple pleasures and be like, oh, today I'll pay for, I'll pay for an escort. I don't know, like it just seems that's the only way I want to get it. I don't know. So it just seems like people have their own way of, justifying their kind of like lack of effort, that they're not even making an effort to even try, because again, they have to try and oppose the ideologies they've been brainwashed with. Until they can do
Mhm.
that, they can't actually have any form of like, starting point. Like they'll be stuck for that. They'll be striving because they're still looking at the same men and complaining about the same people. I mean, I know people who complain about the same people for so long that they become that person in other ways. Like, because it's like they've been dictated in just to go, why are they like that? And obsessed in wondering why it's like that. It's not fair. It's not fair. But if you ask someone to oppose it and say, "Hey,
Mhm.
check this out," about, "Oh, I don't know, man, that's a bit too. Oh, I don't know that. That's not, I'm not really ready for stuff." And it's okay. But one day, people will find out opposing things is the only way you're gonna get answers, because that is the reality. Everything comes with a yin and yang. You can do one thing to the extreme. If you can eat a lot of sweets, you can eat a lot of fruit. If you
Mhm.
can, if you can walk, you can run, or make an effort to run. It's just things like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, of
So
course.
yeah, man. But go on,
Definitely.
man. Nah, that's what's up. Even add more to the documentary. I don't know what more we can say about that, because we already established it's money grabbing. The message was terrible and weak. You get me, and it wasn't strong enough. They didn't introduce anybody to the true strengths of the Red Pill movement that could have been of value to that, and gave true wisdom to this thing, and gave other people a good sense of, I don't know, a good. They could have got good media, and they would have deserved it, because they were doing that. They're putting the right works and right efforts into it. So you just wanted, as I say, you wanted to shine people who are just rusty. You get me? They're not even shiny people. They're just rusty in other ways, especially in the persona, and deeper, behind their soul. So yeah, man.
I
But
think I think the thing with Lewis, yeah, he was going for the people who makes the most money.
yeah, yeah, it's just
That's what
clear,
it
man.
was. He was
Yeah,
going for the people
all
who
it
was
is, man.
making money, and it's like, why are you interviewing these guys who are making money? I mean,
Yeah,
there's other men that can make loads of money like them, but they don't make that kind of context. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, yeah. It's just, that's why I'm glad I did. I'm
but
glad you watched it for the both of us.
but you know what's actually fascinating, because I watched that documentary. I listened to it to one of my classmates. Like, I think that documentary is that good. And he was actually, oh my gosh, you're a take support. I was like, he was joking around with me, but I actually pointed out, like, all jokes aside, yeah, I'm not a take support. I just said the person who did the documentary wasn't that good. And apparently so. Apparently he wants to get Andrew Tate on the documentary, but Andrew Tate refused to be on the documentary.
Yeah, because of his current state of affairs. So I mean,
Yeah,
it would be points for him to go on. He's going through
but
other things that he's got to deal with,
but
as
it,
a catch up to him as a man now. Now he's got to be the
mm,
man and do all these things of his consequences. That's the
of
real
course.
test for him.
But you know
So
what's
yeah,
interesting? It's about this documentary. You got people who are like high journalists as well, who is now jumping onto this topic. I'm like, you're late to a party, right? You're literally
yeah,
late
yeah.
to
The
this.
thing's died. Yeah, you're jumping on it when no one's even caring anymore.
Yeah.
I'm,
You're trying to make it trending.
yeah. It's not as trending as it used to be, exactly.
Yeah.
And men are probably having their own movement of silence and thinking, you know what, I need to really up my kind of my purpose. I know there's a lot of groups out there, men are finding their purpose in other ways, and running the information and having good conversations. So there's a movement out there now. There are role models, and young men are speaking to the right ones when in need
Mhm.
of information. So I can definitely
No, of
say
course.
that's what's happening right now. There's a few out there. They're not getting the tens of thousands of views, but they're getting their kind of acknowledgement as young men still putting effort into the work that needs to be spread. Making sure men's long-term mental health is okay, and we know we can carry them. Above, and hopefully they don't want to choose the grave because of this depraved society that puts them down and makes them feel that they're less, and they get all these, like, you know no encouragements, nothing there, no motivations, nothing. Everyone's just like, laughing through it. But when serious matters happen, ain't no one there to show compassion. You know what I'm saying? And give people a true, that listen to, and be attentive to, and actually give them answers through their distorted views. But that's all poetic and that. But you know what I mean?
No, I mean it's fascinating because hearing this what you just say, it just reminds me of like the old days, early before 2010, like Neil Strauss's the men like that came before Neil Strauss. You had guys like Louis Theroux, you had Mystery Men. Like I said, they were just going around sleeping with women, hooking up with them, and then it's basically just someone called the projection of God, where they have this epiphany moment where, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not happy. I'm not being content. Then it's like they give their life to like religion. either Islam, Christianity, the US, and
Yeah,
like they jump
something. Yeah, something will
to
get them out of
religion.
that. Will get them out of that trance. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
know it's actually funny enough. You know the author Mark Manson. Are you familiar with his work called The Subtle Arts of Giving a Fuck?
Mm-mm. Wait, I have someone bought me that book actually, and I
So
think I've read it years ago. I
so
don't remember it off
yeah.
by heart, but I do remember it was a
So
black cover
basically,
one. It was the black cover one. But go on, if I
so
remember it.
basically, the author Mark Manson, actually made his first book was actually a dating book called Morals. And then this is what I mean. But then God, he actually went around teaching men how to get girls, how to get women. But then it was not. It was completely the opposite of what these lot are doing. And I was thinking, this is one of the best advice. He literally said, "Look, have value, build trust, build genuine connection." And then he went from that to like, now he's married, he's successfully married, he's like, an author, like he's writing his books on Give a Fuck. He did a biography for Will Smith. Like he literally went from a playboy to now a normal man in society. And that's what it is. There are some men who don't want to like, grow up and actually commit. Like they don't want to tie down and stuff. Like somehow monogamy is like a crime. Which I think
Yeah, yeah.
monogamy is a beautiful thing. Like I think what's happening, we have let social media, tell us what is the blueprint, how to be a man and how to be a woman. It's like somehow we're letting these platforms tell us how to live life.
That's the word, platforms. That's it. Yeah, and it's true, and that's what. And the fact that they're platforms and we put them on an effing pedestal. Come on, man.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what are we
Yep.
doing here, man? Like, that's what makes
Oh
it
yes.
worse. I mean, yeah, man. And imagine the struggles I had when I was writing about love. Just imagine it, bro. Like, I was getting challenged left, right, and center, but I was also getting bigged up and getting not bigged up, protected. Like, going, yes, get this message out. Like, you must because you had to. Like, because if I didn't, I would have been part of the dark side of it and try and write against that stuff and probably
You'd be
be
like
just
Darth
as
Vader.
toxic.
You'd be
Yeah,
like Darth Vader, Star Wars. You
yeah, yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would have been more on that side, not the Anakin. I would have never chose my Anakin side. I would have just been the prophecy would have been never been fulfilled with me. I would have made sure I stay on the good side. You get me that?
Yeah.
But I know what that means. That's a good reference. But I mean, it's true that I can easily turn to the dark side. As it's getting darker in my background, as you can see.
I
You
know,
get
trust
me
me.
that? Yeah,
You know what I
yeah. It's
mean? Right
becoming
now,
Batman
some of the
out
audience
here. Like.
quite. I know some of the audience can't see you right now. That's why I turned my lights on earlier.
Yeah,
Like it's
no,
not.
yeah, I think my lights are outside. Like my baby might be crying. I want to make some noise in the live, but
Yeah.
it's good aesthetics. You can still hear my voice. Energy
Oh
and
yeah, of
tones.
course.
So the vibrations up. You feel.
Oh no, of
I'm trying.
course. Your vibrator. The
So,
vibration is always up. And I think back to like look what we were just saying about role models. Like we could give a list of like good role models to look at as well. And like I said, like young boys, I would say to young boys, yeah, if you want to know what good role model is, look at actors in their classical movies.
no,
You
wait,
know what I
wait,
mean?
wait. But shouts out. See, someone said we're role models, bro.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to look
Yeah,
at
of course,
actors
we are
anymore.
models.
We don't need to look at their portrayal of what was then to what is now to what we need to change today. Me and you as men today. We can't go back in what they did, bro. We can. That's me personally as a big man. I'm 40 and snappy,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Now we can't do that anymore. We can use them as reference points, but not as justifications to our personal new movements, bro. Like
No,
to
of course.
to the communities that me and you are gonna create. You get me? To the ones that men might ask you a question. The inquisitive one goes, Sage, man, I've got something to ask you, and then that's gonna test your kind of your true essence of yourself. And you know what I'm saying? You ain't reference no one else but you. You're going through it, my G. You're the one also trying to bypass the energy of whatever this message in the generations to come and the ones below. You're gonna be the messenger for them. You know what I'm saying, my G?
No,
In
of
the
course,
end.
definitely. And I think,
Yeah.
like I said, watching that documentary, in a way, yeah, it gave me a new perspective of life. Yeah, even though like this stuff is outdated, it's nuanced. It's like it's not new. It's like noise. It made me reflect on like Steve Simone said, like built to her, but role models as well. And I think that's why I kind of like J Cole's song "No Role Models," because we are the role models of our own. Like we are literally we literally influence ourselves in that
Yeah.
kind of way, perspective. I mean, if I look at the music I grew up listening to, the actors I watched, those like they weren't the blueprint of my life, but they
But they were a
inspired me to
reference
become
point. Yeah, they gave you a
this.
reference. They gave you a
They gave me the
reference.
inspiration. They gave me the
Yeah, yeah.
inspiration to become
Yeah,
a
I
better,
feel that. I
better.
feel that. That's what I
I
mean.
mean, I mean, surprisingly, listen to J Cole's latest album. Yeah, it's made me realize, wow, what it's like to be imagine being a family man. You know what I mean? Like, even you as a family man yourself, like, come on, what would we like to be a father one day?
Yeah, I don't have to imagine it, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to either. That's what we don't want to do. We want to get out of imagination and start
Yeah.
putting into the seed of that, planting the seeds of like, manifestation of, I don't want to imagine that. I want to be a family man. And
Yeah.
then attract that. But then obviously, as men, we know that with men and anyone, even women, certain magnetism only comes through magnetism and magic only come through changes of behavior or other things opposing. Again, it's about opposing. You can't, like, when two magnets oppose, they attract each other, but when you put them on the same side, they repel. So a lot of us do repelling behavior. We act like, oh no, I'm gonna try that. Try and take a month of coffee. Try and take a month of toast. And try and whatever, like your favorite toast and cheese and ham sandwich. I don't take a month off it, god damn it, and you'll know that discipline will lead to something else. But you'll attract something else with that. You might attract a new flavor. Going, all that time I was eating this, I didn't know I could make these things together and like wow. And then that's it. You might find a new thing, but you got to give yourself some sort of discipline. A little one, something pathetic as that. That's probably a mad example, but I mean, it's just
No,
little
no, no. Yeah,
changes like that.
I wouldn't say that was a bad example. I think that's a fantastic example. That was not a crazy. I think that's an inspirational and fantastic example because
Oh, thanks,
I
man. Yeah,
think
yeah. What?
no, because I try and encourage. Me personally, I would try and encourage young men to get back in the dating field. They let literally saying, "Oh, it's juice ain't worth squeeze." I'm like, brother, what kind of juice you talking about? To juice ain't worth the squeeze. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
life is short. You don't have regrets here because you didn't want to try it or get out. You didn't want to socialize. And the thing is, like, it's not so crazy, but I've been to so many data parties with my friends. It's like 8% women, 20% men. And I'm thinking, guys, you know what I mean? It's not hard to talk to women. Just talk to them, make them
But it
laugh.
is now, man. I mean, that's what I mean. I can remember this is generational, but it is now. I don't imagine trying to speak to a woman from your generation standpoint when these women could be uptight or they have high expectations of a man, and then you're confused because you can't deliver that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're yeah, like they're impressed by the person pulling up in the Ferrari, but then when that guy speeds off, they're going, "Oh, can you give me a ride, please, in your little mini?" You're like, "Oh, okay, now you want to ride my mini car? What are you talking about? My smart car? How dare you?" Like, yeah, yeah, it's built for two, and
Yeah.
my shopping sitting in the other seat.
But you know what? I
But
think I want to push back on what you just said because I think what's happening is young boys are chasing the wrong kind of women. They're
I mean,
chasing
yeah,
them.
no, that's facts though.
So,
But that's what's being promoted to them. It's not them chasing it; it's the promotion. That's back to promotion, man. That's not even they're doing it deliberately. It's almost being fed to them that these are the type of women that they want. Like,
yeah.
you deserve this woman, wearing these tight dresses and
Yeah.
showing everything. You deserve it because
Yeah.
you're watching it from someone else's view. Oh my god, like, and he deserves it. You deserve it. We all deserve it. It's like one big game show, my G. You get me?
It's like you get a
Spinning
prize,
wheel
you
and
get a prize, I get a
yeah, yeah,
prize.
that's what it feels like. And it feels like, just throw that at me, please, please. Like, nah,
Mm.
man, nah. It's crazy out here, man. That's why I
I,
can,
I think
yeah,
I
go
think what
on.
you just said, yeah, is what you just spot on. You literally just said it in a way, in a nutshell. People are chasing too much fantasy, not enough reality. They're living
Yeah,
a
man, but that
dream.
was the reality. We said that exactly what I said earlier, exactly that, bro. But that's what it is, bro. Just what is it? Like, what is it? Is it reality now to want to see men, act like, children? Is that reality now? Is that the new reality that we have to kind of embody that kind of like, oh, I can act like a child forever too. By the time I'm 50, I can, and fair dues, the men older than me in their 50s and 60s, they're still like children. So it's like a cycle that they didn't have much role models in other ways. You know what I'm saying? But they're still men though in other ways. They're definitely men, but they weren't raised fully as highly developed. But potential was lost. Put it like that. Yeah, like, and so it is a very catch-22 when it comes down to the role model situation in all generations. I won't just put it in your one, my one, maybe because again, it's what you seek. It's always what you seek. Because people hide from the truth. They're like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. That's too real. Or, nah, man, like, another time. And that's what I mean. So they spend time arguing about the same things, which again dictates what they don't want to be, but they end up becoming because they just keep talking about it. And you're like, man, do you realize you've been saying this for the last how many months now? Wow, that's deep, man. Like, until that conversation changes, there won't be no growth. And take that from attentive listener. I listen to people very deeply, and I'm like, wow, man, geez, this person's really at that stage. But not to judge them. It's more to say, I wonder what I can do to turn that page. But what can I do? There's only so much I can say because there might be more to break down behind this, and and I might not know all the answers. Just but slowly try and try and make them change their thought process in the sense of change the conversation about something else. Talk about you for once. You get me? Allow to talk about this thing or the other person. Sometimes talk about you for once. I want to hear that. So that kind of rap, you know what I'm saying? It just depends what you're looking for. If that's me just being that kind of person, yeah, chill this and whatever. But at the same time, people don't really, when I do this, and I realize people talk about more other things than themselves. But not to say talk about themselves is vain, but they avoid talking about themselves by talking about other things that have no relevance to themselves. It's like, that ain't relevant to you then. So don't worry about that. Can we move over here then? But that thing, that person though is so annoying. You're like, I get it, but that person's been annoying for the last, and then there's another annoying person after that, and there was one before that. So it just depends, man. It's in
Listen,
the
you
subjectivity.
listen. You can't get away. Listen, if a man has a voice, you can't shut him. Now, much you try, yeah, he's always gonna find a way to speak his mind. Same as women as well. You can't shut them. Like you can't shut human nature.
No, you
Humans.
can. No, you can. But you can because how growth happens. Because you always go, "Oh my God, thank you, teacher." Like definitely, you can.
No, no. What I mean by
Yeah,
that? I mean, I'm talking about the loudest person. Like you always gonna get one person trying to be loud. Like that's what I mean by that perspective.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
hear what you're saying.
yeah,
Like the
yeah.
wise ones.
Yeah, the
Like
wise ones. I'm talking about, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. I'm talking about I'm talking about the wise ones. Because I come from the wise
yeah,
cloth. So the only thing we
yeah.
can talk about is wisdom. If you ain't talking about wisdom, you ain't talking about nothing much. Then yeah, we can have some
Mhm.
jokes in between the wisdom and other things, and
Yeah.
and all that kind of like that kind of like brain rot things. Like yeah, it's like that brain rot, man. Just like that documentary that was probably brain rot. I'm glad my time weren't given, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like it'd be, maybe if I was like in a super weird mode to like watch it, I'll probably watch it on some popcorn and laughter one and get like, oh my God, this was a joke, like, oh man, and like, and whatever, like, I'll probably watch it on that nonchalant one and just get jokes off it. Sometimes me and my girl do that. We watch like B movies or C movies, like just terrible things just to get jokes off it. So we go, can we watch this film from this random film that just looks rubbish and it's got the worst looking acting, and we just watch it and we get laughter.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean,
No, of
man. But
course.
yeah, man. But
I
no,
mean, I would say for me personally, like us being one of my say society. I think, like you said, it was documentary. Realistically, as a whole, yeah, because even like you got people talking in the British news and stuff and BBC and Good Morning Britain. So like, if you really want to help young boys, just get more men to be primary school teachers. Show young boys what it's like to actually have a good role model. Get dads involved in communities.
mm,
Basically,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
bring more father figures into communities. That's how you help shape young boys into healthy ways. Because if you don't cheer, what's happening is you're gonna get these lies telling you how to raise. These are going to start raising your sons, and the last thing you
You're
need
right.
is
Yeah.
that.
These
So
guys' lies raising your son.
yeah.
I like that. Give me some bars in my
So
head. But go on.
to me, it's like to any
Uh,
person here, like to any woman is actually to any woman listening to this view, and that they're like they have sons. Get their young boys involved in activities like football, basketball. Like get that. Try get your brother or your cousins to talk to your sons. You know what I mean? Like interact with them.
hmm,
Basically, bring the community with the family. You know what I mean? Like shape the young boy's mind by introducing to what healthy role models look like in modern day society.
hmm,
I mean, I went to old boys school for 5 years, and I could tell
hmm,
there were some male teachers that kind of shaped my perspective of life
hmm.
as well.
I had that
And
too. Yeah, I had a male
yeah,
teacher. Shape my perspective. You're
yeah.
right though. You are. You're all right about the teachers thing.
So
I'm gonna
so
knock that.
it all stems from because right now it's actually embarrassing. Little boys now having misogyny lessons. Why are you teaching young boys how to talk to girls? That was never a thing when we were growing up. That never existed. So if you really care about young boys, to all the mothers out there, like especially single moms, get get the male, find a male healthy male model, talk to your sons, interact with him, listen to him, ask him what they want.
Hmm,
Have a conversation with your sons, asking them what they want. Don't shame them. Don't deny their birthrights as boys. Like actually let them express how they are. Like the phrase, "Boys will be boys."
hmm. Okay,
Because
that's what's
nowadays in
up.
society, you're literally shaming boys. Now boys feel shame to be a man. Like genuinely. Like I never grown up here. I'm like this. I'll tell you what. It's actually embarrassing that when I look back at this. So back in I was in primary school, I actually got bullied by girls when I was in primary school. It's only 2 years later, my old English teacher told me, Duncan, the reason those girls bullied you because they actually had a crush on you. And I was like, what? Yeah, girls didn't know how to talk to you directly, so they thought about annoying you was their way of getting your attention. I think this spent years psychologically damaged, not realizing I thought I was ugly duckly. I was thinking, oh, I was actually putting time to these girls. And I was thinking, you know what, if I knew this
I love
information
them
years ago,
stories.
I was like, if I knew the story, I would have saved so much trouble in my head. I was thinking, like, I would have saved so much headache. And here I thought I was the ugly duckling. I'm like, damn,
Now,
could
when
have
I
been
was
the
young,
pivot
I
of the
had a
streets.
similar things. I went through similar kind of complexes in other ways. I was like, no, I don't feel good in myself, and I had like eczema in my hair, and I had eczema, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god. So I had my own image conscious kind of thing. You
Mm,
get me? Like, well, and then eventually when that whatever that got fixed, I start slowly I think all them years it's weird being an ugly duckling feeling. It gives you a sense of like self like love in other ways, and then you kind of
mm,
like explore that later on, and it's so worth the payoff. It's weird. You're not vain. You're not like I'm the most coolest, beautiful thing, and you're in the mirror every day, and you kind. I don't know. I can't explain that, but no, I'll put that in perspective one day. And but yeah, bro, you made me think about something when you looked at it. Because I went through a similar thing in secondary school too. Funny enough. So yeah, but
no, of course, definitely. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
when I look at my younger days, I was thinking like, oh, I mean, I'm just glad I didn't grow up in this generation as well because I mean, the idea of I gotta get a lesson how to talk to girls. So you're telling me I gotta take a lesson how to talk to females, which I talk to females on a regular basis. You know what I mean? I have a relationship with my mom. I talk to my sisters. I talk to my aunties.
Yeah, that's
Like
facts.
I think what it is here, what's happening is, like what society's doing, you're taking things out of proportion,
Mm-hmm.
realistically, because why are we not teaching young girls how to talk to boys? You got some women that are literally man hating for no reason. You literally got girls literally hating man for no particular reason whatsoever.
Well, they have a
So I
reason.
was,
Lack of role models.
yeah, exactly.
They
And
have
then
a
exactly.
reason. They have one. They have
So
one.
yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
it's like it's gotta go both ways.
yeah,
It has to go both ways
yeah.
because at
So
the end of the day, it's like love, love. It's like what was it? I think last year there was a Netflix series called Adolescence. I literally had to go on my friend. I said, "You
I can
wasted
see
three
that one.
hours of my."
That I can say I saw out of the hype of everyone else watching it. But go on.
I watched
Yeah.
it. I watched it. I was thinking, I literally had to go on my friend. I said, "You wasted 3 hours of my life that I'm never going back for this." This is obviously crap and nonsense. But it's like, oh my gosh, but Duncan, like this is what they teach your kids. I'm like, why? Like, I said to my boy, like, listen, this is something we didn't grow up here. Let's get one thing straight.
Mm.
You got a bunch of guys here who didn't do your research, didn't do your homework,
Yeah.
who
Facts.
decided to
Facts.
make a fictional writing.
Yeah. And
I could have done a better job.
exaggerate, and exaggerate a
Exactly.
little piece. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
because
See, yes,
yeah,
what I mean.
I could have done a better work. I mean, damn, I could literally pick up books right now and tell you what book. Like I never forget this year. I think it was last year. I was at my local bookstore in Stratford, and I was in the fiction section, and I was talking to a young woman. We were talking about fictional novels, and she told me she had a son. So I just said, look, since you have a son, I literally recommend a book to her that her son should read.
Mm-hmm.
And I think let me get it right now. I think let me get the physical copy. Yes. So I told her to read this book. You can see it. It's called The Way Is
The
Fear
way
Man.
of Supreme Man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I literally said to her, look, that's something your boy should start to read. I read the book back 2020. I listened to the audiobook like over 13 times, and that book grounded me. It gave me the perspective
Mm.
of what masculinity looks like in a healthy way. And
Mm-hmm.
from a spiritual perspective, the emotional aspects. And I literally said to
Mm-hmm.
her, look, I said to her, it's like I think she bought the book as well. I said, look, give that to your son on his 18th birthday. Ask that he'll be set for life. Tell
Mm.
him to read that book when his 18th birthday, and trust me, he'll be set for life. He won't need a fresh and fit. He won't need his man for his talk. He will have that'll be his Bible, and that is it. That's literally his Bible. In fact, that book is so much here that I think Nipsey Hussle, Nick Cannon have always talked about that book a lot.
Interesting. That's interesting. Out of all people, and they're very, very. You can see what type of men
Yeah,
they are, especially Nipsey Hussle.
yeah.
So that's
Oh, yes,
correct.
it is.
No,
So, like I
that's
say,
real. That's real.
I mean, funny enough, yeah, I think a host from a British podcast called Tequila was talking about it, and the woman was actually talking to him about that book. And I remember, yeah, I gave that book. I remember I told my friend to read that book, and the next thing you know, I was like, "Oh, Donkey man, this woman was talking about this very man." I looked him in the eyes. You know, I've been telling you that to read that book for years. You know, I literally told you to read that book for years. And I was just like standing there thinking, okay, so you need a famous person to tell you to do something. All right, cool, I see you. But it's not like, it's not like, it's not like that. It's not like that. I was like, look, I'm playing with you. So I literally had to buy my own, I had to
Mm.
buy my own copy of the book again. I gave it to him. I said, look, just keep it. And then get my own. You know, a book's so good, yeah. You have to give it to someone. You have to get your own
Yeah,
copy.
yeah, but or it's actually lost in rotation because they loan it out to someone
Yeah,
else. And you're
yeah,
like, oh man, yeah,
yeah.
I know that one. I know that all too well. Yeah,
Oh yeah. So I think to me, that was like, I would say, especially like young boys, like if you really want to understand almost, write like poetry, write, read books. You know what I mean? Read fiction
or
novels.
listen
That
to books or whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Listen to wise people. You don't have to even read. You
People.
can't read, listen. You can listen, read, and listen. You can do both. Do both. You know, I know what you mean. I know what you
Or
mean.
write, or just journal. Or like
Yeah,
that's what I did.
journal,
I
definitely
spent
journal. Right, yeah, write how you feel, write
you
how you
feel.
write. How just write for
Yeah,
you, write for you.
you.
There's no structure, just the way you feel, and that will give you a sense of self of man, or a sense of self development, of understand what man you may want to become or may become. So, but yeah, on that note, man, it's getting too
Yeah,
dark out here. We're the
I
opposite of
know.
opposites.
I know. Trust me, it's dark on my side as well. I had to put the lights on
Yeah,
because you know what I mean.
no,
But
well
no,
done. But
definitely.
this is a great conversation now. Looking at it, you get me, like, and we summed up. Yeah, what would you like to sum up to the audience before you leave, like, about this whole, maybe not the documentary, but more so on the perspective of what the manosphere was and what it can be, or in generally how you generally see it as your personal growth with it. Like, what would you sum up with that, if that makes any sense?
I mean, I always say to, I mean, I would just dress up to women, yeah, in the women, like have a conversation with the men in your life. Take the time to listen to them. Actually listen, not respond, but actually listen. Like news your ears, listen to what they have to say, and dive in because you might actually understand where they're coming from as well. It's like even check up with them as well. Like even and also mothers who out there have sons, have a conversation with your sons, you know what I mean? And not
Yeah.
just that, make sure the men in your family actually have a conversation with them. Chat with them. Let the men that you're alive talk to your sons. Tell them, hey, this is the mistakes I made. So
Hmm.
that way you don't make those mistakes again.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So,
And what
so
else
yeah.
would you?
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because at the
so
same time, yeah, no, I hear you on that. Like, that's a good sum up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to now resurrect that kind of feminine and masculine connection that we once had from like
mhm.
what you're saying, and that does start from a nurturing voice being the woman. So I like kind of how you kind of definitely incorporated that with that because it's true because that tone is necessary and balanced if done right. So yeah, man. Yeah,
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 what's
definitely.
up, man?
Yeah.
That's what's
I
up.
see you see Joyce. I see you see
She
join the
joined on the
chat as
outro.
well.
You joined on his beautiful
I know,
outro.
outro. You just came about to leave as well. Oh, it's a shame. But like I say, you go listen to a rerun as well. But yeah, I would say start with having a conversation with men,
Yeah,
in your lives. Talk to young boys, ask them how they're feeling, guide them as well. I would say just tell them that they're doing okay. They're not lost. They're not behind. They're not failing. Just tell them that their time will come. You know what I mean?
I
And trust me,
like that.
you don't need you don't need a lot of money or regard just to be successful. Trust me, that is the low vibration that society wants you to have.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the material comes and goes, and once that material is gone, then who are you?
You are just but man, flesh, and being.
Hmm.
And so be of flesh, and and with flesh, get that warmth, find a significant other you can get warm with, and get that love and show that love. You feel?
Yeah, no, of course, definitely,
Yeah, man.
for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, this is a great conversation, by the way.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll be
glad you
honest. I
brought this
think,
up. I'm glad you brought this up, man. Because I've always been interested, but you've gave me some insights to things that are kind of more learning and growing to do when this thing arises with other young men in the future. And I think you can too. I think you now have the opportunity to offer that wisdom that you've now grown with, and you've now been able to step in and out of the realm, and now you can dabble with it because you've had the experience of dealing with it and and slowly not appealing to it. You're one of the early ones in it, and the early ones to leave it before everyone else starts leaving it, and then finding this new motion of what can be now, the new, not new manosphere, but new manhood kind of motivations. Let's put it like that.
No, of course, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that's what I
No,
mean. So
definitely.
shouts you
Yeah.
out, man.
Anyway, no, of course, definitely. But yeah, much love to you, man, Leo, and thanks for listening to this. Thanks to whoever like joined the chat as well. Much
Yes, thanks
love
to all
to
of you for
people.
staying long as such, and
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
man, and maybe all find our love and our sense of peace. That's what's
Hmm.
up. All
No, of course,
right.
definitely.
Salute to
More
the sage.
salute to you,
Yeah,
Leo, and more
and I'll see
conversation
you up,
upcoming.
man. Nothing but love,
Definitely.
yeah. All right.
Love.
Peace,
Peace.
man. Respect.
Peace.
Cool.
Love.
Cool.
Love.
Love. Love.
Yes. Love.
Yes.